Hello everyone, hello. I hope this is working and going well. Is that bright? That looks all right light wise, doesn't it? I have been thinking, let me know if the sound's all right as well. I have been thinking about maybe almost like changing the effect a bit like this, or even going black and white for these streams. I'm not 100% sure about the actual setup. That's what I'm not sure about at the moment. But you can obviously see that we've now got a chat screen, which is good. That is better than what we had last week, which is very positive. I don't seem to have my bot in the actual chat. I'm not too sure why it's not actually giving the command out. I've only set one custom command. I might have to revert to stream elements to see if it will do it. Let's see if that will work with stream elements. Or maybe nothing is working at all. Oh, there we go. There we go. And then we can add it there. So stream element seems to be working, but streamer bot does not seem to be working. So behind me there, you can see my previous, that is my gaming setup there. You can see my Rode Procaster there, my Rode, my key light up there. So this is almost like round the opposite way. We're on the opposite side of the room at the moment. I'm not central, but I can adjust that there. That'll do. So that's good. But do feel free to go along to that Ko-fi page there if you would like to see more about our sessions, etc. Now, I'm not too sure whether or not when we go to the next screen, whether or not you're going to see everything or not. So we might have to play it by ear. Okay. If you are not aware, recently I got accepted as a ClickUp ambassador, and I use ClickUp a lot, and this is ClickUp. That is not ClickUp. Hey Chuggerwugger, how are you doing? Hope you're looking good and feeling super duper fine today. That is not ClickUp. So I think I must have this set up for this Chrome. Yeah, so let me just change it to this. So this is ClickUp that I use, and as you can see from the setup, this is what's known as a dashboard. So I have everything on my dashboard that I'm working with or going through, etc., etc. These are all the tasks that are due today. These are all the tasks that were overdue. These are all the tasks that I could do today. I'm going to change that title of it eventually to just say next, because these are activities that I should be doing next or in the future. And you can see that Elder Scrolls Online here. This is a reoccurring task at 2 o'clock. So I've done that. So I can actually say that that's completed, and it'll move it. These are actually coming out at 8 o'clock. This one comes out at 8 o'clock. 10,000 steps. Hang on, let's see if I can get my phone. I've got my little headphones on. So 10,000 steps. Done. so we can tick that off as well. I'm trying to walk 10,000 steps every day, and yeah, so this I'm working on Elder Scrolls today. Why is that overdue? It might just need to do a bit of refreshing. I think it's absolutely, it'll probably come up, not now. Yeah, there you go. So this is down here is everything that I need to work on today. And there's some of the next adventure here. So if you are planning on playing the next adventures, I would probably not be looking now. But I have got a whole load of things to do and to actually work on today. So we've got absolutely plenty to do, so I'm just going to change your view to this one, which of course is World Anvil, and I have to say thank you to World Anvil. Look, Chugawaka, I can even put your message up on the screen like that. Look, how cool is that, eh? How cool is that? So I'm working on this at the moment. Let me just go to my screen. So I only have one screen when I'm streaming on my Mac, and this setup that I'm using is a program called Ecamm Live, which is set up purposefully for the Mac, because the Mac has some very strange sound issues. So anyway, that's what we're on at the moment. So that's what we're working on. This is the next adventure, which is I'm working on, and I've actually decided to actually put a lot of the I've decided to change the heading on each one. So there's something different. So that's what we're working on at the moment. But today I need to write some rules, because I need to ensure that my thinking is communicated well to the players, and that they understand what's going on, etc., etc. So to start off with, I want to oh right, hang on. First, there's certain things that I could do really quickly. So the first thing I need to make a note on, this is my ranged article that's got all my information about my range, etc. I'll just click myself over to the other side there. So this needs to have a bit more information in it. These are all the modifiers. So take cover can be taken as a reactive action. Similar, I'll put a full stop in there, I think. Hang on, let me just increase the size of this, because I normally write it at 150 for you in this stream. This allows the... Oh, my lights died. My lights died, folks. It's run out of it needs to be charged. It needs to be charged. Oh, drat. Is it all right with the lights off? The light off, or shall I go to sepia effect here, or even black and white? I can just leave it like this. It'll just look a bit strange. Sorry, I should have charged it up. It needs to be charged. It's actually a little light that I've got perched on top of my camera to give a light. I am trying to save up for another key light, but they are slightly expensive. Okay, so take cover can be taken as a reactive action. This allows the character to dive to cover to avoid being hit with hit from ranged combat. Okay, that's good. This is not possible in melee combat. When the character takes the take cover action, they roll their evade skill. This is an opposed roll compared to the attacker's combat style roll. Unlike evade, take cover does not leave the character prone, but there needs to be, hang on, cover needs to be available. Okay, so that's the first one. I got a little bit confused yesterday with I've had this misconception for a while that evade was a differential roll, which is not, and I know that now it's an evade. And in M space there's a reaction, a reactive action, so the others are parry, evade, and then take cover. Hang on. So take cover allows the person to sort of like dive out the way into cover, and it's almost like assumed that there will be cover, whether or not it be a chair, a table. I mean, obviously, even if it's a desert world, there might be a sand dune that they can dive behind. But the important thing is that it's an opposed roll. So if somebody has a combat skill and they are successful at 79%, and somebody rolls their evade skill and is successful at 23%, the combat skill still takes action, okay? And they still get shot, they still take full damage. However, what I'm going to say is that once that has happened, at the end of the action, the character is in cover. At the end of the action, no matter whether it is successful or not, the character will be in cover and not prone. So, and it's important here that it's their evade skill that they actually use. Okay, so they actually use their evade skill there rather than anything else. And I think this is really important, and that they sort of like can use this almost like a parry, you know. So somebody's attacking, they can parry. So oh, hang on, I got one more bit here. Take cover requires the use of an action point. And of course in M space there's everybody gets 2 action points. There's no difference between people at all. Everybody gets 2, which I have to say is so much easier to take to keep a handle on, because you know for every round you're always only ever going to have 2 turns, because nobody's ever going to go to 3 turns. So it's quite nice that. So that ticks off. I had a job here to check take cover rules, which I've now done. So that's been ticked off, which is good. And thank you to everybody in the Mithras chat Discord that actually helped me, showed me what to do with that, which was super duper helpful. Okay then, so the next article that I want, so my articles are where all my information is stored within World Anvil, and I have this open all the time so I can flick through when character rules happen. A lot of the time I'm not actually looking at Roll20, I'm actually looking at this. And just so you know what I often, let's see if I can do this. So a lot of the time I'm in this view. So I've got the rules here, so I can literally call them up and have them on my screen. All the time, so there's not an issue with that. Okay then, so sticking with rules, I want to write some rules about hacking. Now I already have an article here called Computing and Hacking, so I'm going to go into that first. Okay, and this is well established. This is all from the actual rule book. It's from M Space Companion. So I've sort of like copied it in here for 2 reasons. Number one, actually doing this interaction, this copying actually helps me remember them and commit it to information. And the other thing is then I don't need to flick through a book. Hi Matt, how are you doing? It's lovely to see you. You've also got mod options in here, just to remind you, just in case I get a whole load of people saying nasty things, you take their bark knife off them. So yeah, so what I want to do here is extend some of this system. And I'm actually going to pop it into if I can just open this in another tab. So this is what it looks like altogether. So we've got this idea of this hacking. So with opposed rolls between the system difficulty and the percentage. If lose, then the security holds. Okay, then hacker doesn't want to be noticed. You can either reduce it by 20, 40 or 60%. So extended conflict, hacking, skill versus the difficulty. So these are the difficulties down here. So like the commercial thing has a security level 5 and the difficulty of 30, while military has a level 15 difficult of 70. You can also see here that there also has security levels here. You have intelligence and then security levels as well. So this is like the artificial intelligence of it. And so while the pool for the hacker themselves is the average of the intelligence and POW, and power. It's a security level that is the pool for the system. So you can see here that commercial levels have a security level of 5, so they will have a pool of 5, and then of course whenever you win you reduce the security level or the other pool by 1d6. Okay, and then that's how it sort of like reacts. Okay, so here the first thing I want to do is that I want to extend this, and because it's come via IO now, Tex's sort of like character idea has this sort of like digital rogue character, and I thought it was really good yesterday in the session when combat started out. IO sort of like dived underneath the table but started to try to hack into the communications of the guards. So I'm going to use the same rules for both. There's not going to be a difference at all. So this idea of the systems or the difficulty will be the same, and this will all be the same. This could be communications there as well. Intelligence and power, 1 round. Okay then, so this was an issue that came up last night, in the sense that combat is going on and IO's under the table trying to hack the communication array to try to prevent activities going, and the round length for this is 1 round. So that will allow everybody sort of like, so there'll be 2 turns in 1 round, and 1 round is 5 seconds. And so I feel that IO sort of like felt that she was just sat there. She would do her first action against the security level, but then that was it. She didn't get another action because the actual amount of time it takes is a round. I also got to think what actually is happening when the hacking is going on. So for example, if somebody starts to hack in the communications array or the computer system, what is actually happening during that time? And what I didn't want to do is, combat can last very quickly, and so I need to strike that balance between hacking things to be helpful and hacking things not to be helpful. And the important thing to remember from this is that it's not saying after 1 round it will be hacked or not. Okay, what it's saying is that after 1 round it might be hacked, it might not be hacked. And for example, you're only rolling a 1d6. So if you think about it, a 1d6, if it's like high security or law enforcement here, then what's going to happen here is that 1d6 is not going to take that 10 down. The maximum it can take it down is 4, but it could take it down to 9. So there's also this idea that we've got, I feel that I have to make it viable. Because one thing that I want in the campaign is, no matter how players want to play their characters, I want them to feel that it has a purpose. They're contributing. So the thing that I was toying about when I was out on my run, walk this morning, is that it could be it could be that in this round, so I don't know if you watched the actual play last night, but there was communication going backwards and forwards, and IO wanted to hack into it to see what was happening. But the question is, what is happening during that point of hacking? And I thought that there could be static during that time. Okay, so there could actually be static. So the character or the player can make a decision at that point. If they start to hack in, and remember, this will work for players as well. If they try to hack in, then is there something noticeable happening on the communication array or in the computer? Is it getting slow? Is there glitches happening? Because there is the opportunity for the hacker to say that they don't want to be noticed, and if they don't want to be noticed, they naturally take a reduction in their hacking, and so they're using less of a skill roll, but they're keeping secret. So that's the first thing I thought. So if hidden, no apparent signs will be present. However, if not hidden, then glitches or static will be noticed or heard. Possibly even echoes or feedback. Now, this is important because during this time, there is the possibility to defend the system. So if they suddenly notice that their communication array is under attack, then what they can actually do is try to protect it. And they add 1/5 of the defender's power and intelligence at average to the security level. So the hacker comes in and starts to actually hack it and support it. And 1/5 of the defender's skill to the system's difficulty. So this is when all of a sudden the hacker or the defender can actually come in and start to doing it. Taking the system offline is sometimes possible, but the interconnectedness of most systems, yeah. Okay then. So I think it's important that this happens, because I just feel that if it doesn't happen, then the party would never know when they're being hacked. And this is a really important point as well. So I'm just putting those in bold, because what I'm trying to put in is some rules that allow the players to notice when they're hacked, plus when I can act as a GM, and start to say, oh, it's hacked. Now I have another idea to put in here that I'm going to put in italics and just sort of like float. Okay. During the hack, the system is not useful to its full potential. Small amount of data or speech will be heard, but significant amount of information will be stopped. Okay, so the purpose of this is that I want it as soon as IO or somebody else starts to hack the system, that they're having an impact. They're not waiting to 6 rounds down the line and suddenly, you know, after all the gunshots have been fired and everybody's lying on the ground, they suddenly say, oh, I've done it. And then that's it. The other thing that I'm considering is altering that round to a turn. And actually saying, you know, the round length is a turn. However, out of combat, it takes longer. And I think this is really important because I think they need to be able to have that impact. And although computers hacking was already in and IO's taken that on board, we've also come up with this idea of communications, and it also gives a really valid approach to actually a different form of activity rather than just combat. Now, the other thing that we need to make sure that is actually is established is that, and this goes against what I've already said, because IO wanted to use her communication skill to support their personal network, and I'm not too sure whether or not we can do that. I think what we'll do is keep the security level where it is, i.e. at the 5, but use her her level as the difficulty. And remember, the thing is, they can actually come in and defend it if they wish. And so we have to be really careful about what we actually use for that security level and that difficulty, and that's something that we really need to keep an eye on, you know, and how's it actually working. I like the idea of them saying that communication system has a difficulty of, but I don't know the impact on the game. So I think what I'm going to do is go with what I've said to start off with until we see what the impact is, okay, and what happens with it. I want to almost like put a limiting factor in here, and also not necessarily with the communications, but with the computers, because I almost like want to say, right, your handheld computer is not as good as the ship's computer, you know, and these have different intelligence ratings and also levels and difficulties. And so there's a real sort of like thing that, yeah, okay, then you might be able to do something on your little laptop, on you know, your handheld computer on your wrist, but this is completely different to what you can be doing on the actual starship. So somehow I've got to bring in that level of different computers, not necessarily communication arrays, but definitely computers. Now, the one way to do this would be to link it to the computer skill, and sort of like say, okay, then if your computer skill is 68%, very much like I've done with the communication array. But I think this is different. And I think eventually I'm going to have to put something in about the communication array as well, saying these are the different levels that you can actually buy. So people want to upgrade. And I think what I would do at that is this. I don't know if you can see this system here. Yeah, you can. I think what I would be doing is suggesting that that's the limiting factor. So these level 5 computers limits your computer skill to 30%. Okay, but then, or coming on for this one, this idea of computing, so this is the intelligence rating, which is something completely different that doesn't come into hacking at all. But it might be that we sort of like say, okay, then this is how complex it is, and somehow these scores here limit what it can actually be. So I haven't thought through that yet, and until I've actually given it more of a thought, it's nothing I can actually put into play. But if you're watching and you're GM or you play RPGs or you've got an idea, then please do drop it into the chat. I'm not saying that I will implement it. What I'm saying is that it's always useful to add it to the discussion, and that's always good. So yes, so I've got a bit of work to do on the limiting factors of that. So I'm just going to add that to my to-do list. Factors of types of computers. Sometimes, just so you know, I can go back to the companion, and there might be something in the companion that actually explains all this, but I don't like sort of like taking the rules out on stream for obvious reasons. Okay then, so we've got a couple of really good things sorted there, and that's working well. Okay, so the next article that I want to write is computer and communication systems. Okay, so this is a really interesting one, because what we need to do, what I found last night, is that my understanding of communications and systems was different to other people like Tex and Mr. Pickles, etc., etc. So I wanted to almost like clarify what it actually is and how it actually works. So the first thing I wanted to talk about is almost like basic concepts. Okay, and this is important because it sort of like sets the scene for everything. And just to let you know, you can see up here at just above my head that it says that this is published, but it's private. The WIP means work in progress, so I can change this to done, but it's not done yet. And then here, I can actually allow certain people to see this article. So, for example, this is, it's published, so the people can see it. But the only people, because it's private, the only people who can see it are the players. and that's it. So if you were to go onto the website, you wouldn't be able to see this article until I'm happy with it, and then I've sort of like sent it out. Okay, well, I'm not going to call this basic concepts. I'm going to call it important concepts. Okay, so MSpace is a well-connected world. Almost, if I was doing this in Grammarly would tell me off now for using the word almost everyone. It would say, be more confident and say everyone. Almost everyone has a communication device and or computer, comma, whether these are top of the range devices or the equivalent of MSpace's Nokia phones. When anything happens, photos, videos, and sound bites can easily be recorded and shared either during or after the event. In newsreels across the galaxy often rely on this media to form the basis of their up-to-date reports. Okay, that's cool. Hopefully you can see where I'm going here. In this era, social media maintaining a cyber security is even more important. Also, if you commit any action, you can be sure that it will be captured either through what do you not established legal security systems or a nosy passerby. The world of digital media is a quagmire of real and fake media which is often sold to the highest bidder. And even if the event or action or deed, I like that word, deed, did not take place, there will be hackers who are prepared to generate the requested or needed media to ensure that people are held to account. Okay, I like that. This is actually BB code that I'm writing in. World Anvil does have the option to write in like normal writing. I just prefer it like this because I'm used to seeing HTML written out. I can see it and I find it a lot easier. I have a really good where is it, this, which is a BB code table generator. So I actually make the table here and it actually generates the code for me there. Generates a, do you know, I don't know, have you seen the new Photoshop beta? I don't know if you've seen the new Photoshop beta at all. It's absolutely unbelievable. I really cannot stress how impressive it is. Let me just it just wants to update. Hang on, let me show you this. Right, that's what I want. Let me just switch to Photoshop. So this is Photoshop beta now. Okay, so this is a photograph that I took. Okay, and I love the cloud formation, but I hate the bit below it. Okay, I don't like all this, but it really is not an issue now, because what you can do is select it like that and then click generative fill. What do you want to generate? So if I haven't tried this one out, if I put like distant mountains into here, if I could spell mountains, and obviously the more information you give it, the better. Click generate. It will give me 3 options to replace that with. You know, so it's thinking now. So here we go. So notice, can you see it's fed the cloud down here? Can you see how it's made the cloud go down? So that's 1. I mean, look at that. I just think some of these are absolutely epic. I can guarantee that if I showed these to people, they might never know. Ships on the sea sailing with their sails up. Okay, let's see what it comes up. I spelt sails wrong, so it might come up with something completely rubbish, but we'll see. Let's see. I mean, look at that. Look, I mean, just look at that. I mean, that picture there, notice on that picture, the light, notice that the light here going down this part of the picture, if you can see that going down here, is reflected here in the water. The light is actually the same. I mean, come off it. You would not know the difference. You seriously would not know the difference. And my point is, where do I want to go back to this one. My point is, if that's available now, what's available in the future? What is actually available in the future? Right. Dealings with false, fake, or even real media happen on the dark web, an underground version of the main internet that is easily accessed. However, remember that all access to anything can be traced. Okay, so that's almost like my important concepts, and I want to get that established right way early on in this session. I might use a smaller heading then. Okay, right, let's talk about communication systems. Hang on, let me just do my PP. These are what keep everyone and everything connected. Communication systems can be as small as a private one-on-one conversation, or as large or as vast as communications being sent across galaxies. All computers have to have a form of communication array to connect to the web, to other people, devices or the web. Wi-Fi is an right, so this is the issue I have. This is the issue I have. Is Wi-Fi computer related or communication related? That
I don't know that.
oh sorry, it's because I said computer, and that's what I call my Alexa. So is Wi-Fi computer related or communications? Now I think if you want to hack the Wi-Fi, it would be a computer skill rather than a communication skill. I think if I take my own network, I have the router which is forming my little network with the Wi-Fi here, but it is then sent to a communication system that is sending it to you. So I have my communication system here, I have my computer system here, including the Wi-Fi and everything, but in order to go anywhere I need a communication system which will be fiber, etc, etc. Communications can be achieved through fiber connections or through the atmosphere or space via the use of satellites. So if I pick up my phone, okay, even though my phone has an element of a computer system in it, as soon as I try to connect with it, I'm no longer using a computer, I'm using a communication system. And this is the demarcation that I want to make, in the sense that when does computing, the skill computing, stop, and when does communication start? And I think this is I need to have this very clear in my head, so I communicate it to the players so they have it very clear in their head. Okay, I might come back to that. Let's just put another computer systems. Okay. These are systems that incorporate some aspect of AI or processor. They can be small enough to fit on your wrist or belt, or large enough or as large as to fill be the essential component of starships. So if I wanted to, this is where my thinking is at the moment. If I wanted to hack a starship's computers, the first thing I need is a communication system to actually get there. Okay, so this might be used just by hailing a starship or making a direct connection with it, almost like piggybacking my hacking on a communication to them. And this is why shields are so important, because once the shield has gone up on the starship, it's almost like saying nothing can get in now. They could, I mean, in my head, sort of like communications might not be able to get through, or you might modulate your shield frequencies in order to allow emergency systems out, but nothing in. And so you've got almost like this protection. Computer systems. Computer stop. Include everything on the network, including Wi-Fi and any file storage systems. There's probably some there's probably some computer experts saying no. But I just need to have it clear so we understand how things are going to be. So in my head, we have a whole load of computer systems that are joined together via communication systems. Of course, if you have a computer system that is totally disconnected from the web, it has no communication system, and the only way to access it is on site. Okay, and that's how it fits into my mind. So I forget which one of the Mission Impossibles there are, but there's a computer system off-site. I forget, do they call it a skiff? It might be a skiff, but they say it's a completely isolated computer system. So it's not connected to a communication system or any form of communication, so you can't access it. And that's what I want to sort of like get in my head. Within, okay, I want to give an example, and I'm going to use the situation that we had on board the ship. So this is the nice thing about World Anvil. So I want to put on Matthew Brock's starship. Okay, then. So if I start here and say so on space at, and if I start typing, oh hang on, let me just get rid of that. Can you see now it's brought up the two, so I can just link to that article. So if we were to preview this in a new window, when we come down to this part, can you see it will actually open up Matthew Brock's full article there. Now let's see what somebody's just put in. Oh, is that what it stands for? Wow. Sensitive compartmented information facility, a SCIF. Pretty much, yeah, perfect. I love it. And I think that also gives, I don't know, once I see anything like that, my head is full of possibilities. I discovered while I was investigating space that there are white holes as well as black holes, which I was interested in. But there are such a thing as a rogue planet. And a rogue planet is a planet that has no star. Actually, it's not orbiting a star. It's a planet that is actually just floating around in space. And it's very cold. And it's probably barren and deserted. It probably has little to no atmosphere, but it's there. And I'm just listening to a book at the moment. I think it's called Three. It's called Pushing Ice by Alistair Reynolds. That's it there. But it's I'm loving it already. So what they're sort of like, they're on a ship called the Rock Hopper, I think it's called, or something like that. But one of Saturn's moons, Janus or Janus, depending how you want to call it, has actually broken out of orbit and is heading off to a star. And as it's moving away, bits of the ice surface is falling off left, right and centre. And they now actually think it wasn't a moon at all. They think it was actually some kind of space station or artificial intelligence. And so the Rockhopper crew is heading out to see whether or not they can figure out what it is. Thank you. Hi, Darth, how are you doing? White holes are theoretical, black holes are confirmed. Thank you, John. Yeah, and I think I'm right. In the centre of the Milky Way, there is a black hole, isn't it? In the centre of our galaxy, the Milky Way galaxy, there's a black hole right in the middle. And, you know, it's almost like that's where everything is revolving round. So World Anvil allows me to do this. So I'll just show you that again so you can see it in action. So I just start typing Matthew Brock. This is a plot from The Last Adventure, so that's an article, but this is his person. So I can just click on that. And then when it comes out, I can just click on it or edit it just like that, which is absolutely fine. Yeah, a supermassive. Oh, yeah, that's it, because there's two types of black hole, isn't there? I think there's a black hole, then a supermassive black hole. I was watching a video. I honestly, GMing and creating a space. An M space campaign. I am loving it. Not small enough to be rocky, but gas giants. But I was just thinking, John, it opens up a whole load of possibilities, doesn't it? You know, and then watching this pushing ice, listening to this pushing ice, I'm sort of like thinking, ooh, what could be in there? What could be inside of it? What's it doing? And I was watching, it's not a very good film, I don't like it, but Deep Impact was on channel film 4. All galaxies have supermassive black holes. Oh, really? That is super interesting, isn't it? I was watching another video about them being a like a skin over space, and then outside this other realities, possible other realities, and then black holes could be actually like dimensional portals between realities. And then my brain just sort of like fills up then with possible ideas. I don't know if anybody ever played Advanced Dungeons and Dragons, but I forget, it was one of the S modules, and I think it was Expedition to the Barrier Peaks. And when it was all set on a spaceship that had crashed to the ground. And one of the funniest things, it was ingenious. I never played it, but I read about it, in the sense that you would pick up so these are D&D characters, fancy characters, picking up a rifle, okay, and then trying to press a button or pull a trigger. But the interesting thing is there was a random table, okay, that you rolled to see whether or not what they had put it on, whether or not they had put it the correct way round, whether or not they were holding it up to their eye or something like that, which I thought was brilliant. Was another story from Art Bell, conspiracy theory radio host. Nice. It's an interesting film, and I often think, you know, are there comets or asteroids out there that I know they monitor a lot. I was listening to Brian Cox, who was saying how many they actually monitor all the time. But whether or not there will be a what do they call it when like the dinosaurs, it's a something event. I can't remember what it's called. It's almost like a a disaster event or something like that. It means that it's an event that will sort of like terminate life, or something like that. I'll do a bit more writing and then have a look. So on Matthew Brock's Starship, there was the main computer system that was controlling the ship. In addition, this included possible Wi-Fi connections to all RISC computers, and also provided access panels in the walls of the ship. Okay, let's mass extinction, that's it. Watching players, a mass extinction, yeah, that is it. An extinction, yeah. Watching players realise that the biopic switched into sci-fi. Weird. Yeah, it was. One of the things I love about Mithras is that Mithras, the rule system, is that I can jump from setting to setting and we don't have to relearn new rules. And the other gaming system that's very much like that is Savage Worlds. And I've actually got a module on Roll20, a free one, for Savage Worlds. I think, I don't know if Chuggerwug is still in the chat, but I'm sure there was a game called Boot Hill that was set in a western, in like the Wild West, and I'm sure it's called Boot Hill, and I think that is Savage Worlds. I think that system was Savage Worlds, and it also like got combined, but people would be able to correct me on that. This included possible Wi-Fi to all RISC computers for access to the walls of the ship. Okay. Also, individual people would have had their own computer devices. These would be separate from the main ship's computer system, but they could use a form of communication to network with the ship's system. This now right, so this is when my head explodes. This is when my head explodes. This is when I get puzzled about Wi-Fi again. Is Wi-Fi to do with the computer? Is Wi-Fi a computer system, or is it a communication system? Because I was just thinking these could be, but they could use a form of communication to network with the ship's system. This could be in the form of USB of cables, I'll just put, or via. Oh no, I think I'm right here. Honestly, John, and I know I produce a lot of content for it, but ever since I started to play it, I am obsessed with the system. I find it so flexible. You can make it your own, and yet it seems to have so much detail in it. And I don't know if you go on the... Okay, so if Wi-Fi is communication, okay, if Wi-Fi is communication, what happens when the computer is turned off? That's what I was thinking about out on my walk. So is the Wi-Fi something connected to the computer, or is it something completely separate from the computer? Is Wi-Fi actually a communication system? So, oh, are you doing? Have you played the system? Have you played any of the games? Are you a GM or a player? Just to let you know, my first actual play on Mithras, I actually ran. That was the that's a free module. It's a free module that, and it's a whole adventure. And if you want to see us playing it, it's the first actual it's the first actual play that we ever did. So on that group there will be Chugga Wugga, Big Beastie, somebody else that I can't remember their name, that played like a blacksmithing party, and Longshanks EPG. So none of those actually still play anymore, but that was the first ever group, and then Mr. Pickles came along, and I think I can't remember who came next, Mr. Pickles or Medivac. I can't remember, or they might have come at the same time, because at one point Longshanks EPG was the longest running member, because he had been there right from the beginning. Right. Then it removes whatever information was on that computer from the system. The other system that I used, and I used this a lot when I first started up. A lot of people recommend Monster Island. I found that really hard to get my head into. So I actually started with a Matt Eager publication. Well, no, he has. This is what. This book, Book of Quests, was brilliant. I did a lot from this. I found this one, and it's really nice. It has all the maps in as well. Of course, the combat modules are brilliant as a good starting point. And the Hazard's Treasure, I think that's how you pronounce it. This one is excellent. This one is absolutely brilliant. I love DMing that one. You have to pay for those though. Oh, and if you want, I've just noticed another one here as well. This one, White Death, is an excellent module as well. This is for almost like sci-fi-ish, and really enjoyed this. Really enjoyed that module. Okay. Basically Wi-Fi 5 Blue. Basically cables, Bluetooth wire are network mediums. Okay, so this is. I was answering my own question, Matt, as well, in the sense that if I turn off this iMac now, the Wi-Fi still exists. The Wi-Fi is actually being controlled by the router. It's not actually being controlled by a computer, isn't it? But the router is creating a network. So the router is sort of like joining a whole load of computers together and saying one of the ways you can join is via Wi-Fi. And that's why I think it's still a computer skill to hack it. This is the issue. And just to let you know, it doesn't matter. This is something that I learned a while back. It doesn't matter what we decide. It just matters that we decide and everybody's on the same page. That's what I plan to do, and it's one of the advice that I would give to any GM. There is no right or wrong way. There's the way that you decide as a group, not necessarily as a GM, but as a group, how you're going to play it, and then that's it. You know, as long as everybody knows what is happening, that's the only thing that counts. You know, so I might implement a rule different to how Matt E implements a rule, but it doesn't matter. There might not be a right or wrong way. It's just two different interpretations, and as long as everybody knows their own interpretation, then that's fine. My question in my head is that if I was going to hack a network, if I wanted to hack into a Wi-Fi system, would I roll communications or would I roll computer? Yeah. Okay then. So here's a better question then. I think it would be confusing to make the Wi-Fi a computer system because all it does is communicate data. So it feels like a communication system. I see. I see your point completely. But then I have a problem. Okay, so if a player said to me, okay, so if a character said to me, say Mr. Pickle said to me, I want to hack into the computer network. I want to hack into the computer network. What do they roll? Do they roll a communication skill or do they roll a computer skill? That's where I'm at. So let's put it into a real life example. And just to let you know, this would never happen, ever. If I said to you, come round and sit in my flat, and you got here, and you wanted to hack into my network via the Wi-Fi, would you be using a computer skill or would you be using a communication skill? That's the issue I have. But you can hack a Wi-Fi, can't you? That's why Wi-Fis are protected. So you can actually hack into a Wi-Fi. You can piggyback on somebody else's Wi-Fi signal. You can do that. And I'm just wondering, like I said, it doesn't matter which one we go with. I just need to make the decision. So I think we've got the way I'm thinking about it, and what I'm going to have to do now. Sorry, people, but I'm going to have to draw it because it's only via drawing it that I actually start to understand it. So one of the nice things about World Anvil is that it actually has a built-in whiteboard system as well. Is communication also? No, it's a communication as in radio, personal communications, hacking into that. So it's not the social skill. It's nothing to do with talking. It's nothing to do with talking. It's a good point, Matt. That's a good point. See, what I think I actually have, I think here, okay, so I think there I have the computer systems. Okay. And then I think let's just do it in different shapes. Here, I feel I have the router, or the something that is providing the network and the Wi-Fi. I feel I have that there. And then I then feel that out here I have the comms. So I'm working on this at the moment that is connected to my Wi-Fi or my router, that's then going out and it's going down the communication system, whether or not that be fiber or whatever, satellite or whatever, to YouTube, when it's coming back onto the network and then coming onto your computer. That's how I see. Yeah, so the communication skill, what it actually states, I got my rule book here, and we might, just to let you know, we might not actually play it exactly like this, so be prepared for that. It's called comms. And it says, this skill grants the ability to use communications equipment to detect, conceal, or block comms traffic. It also grants a chance of cracking encrypted messages. So it's all about but the computer is already communicating with your router. Yeah, via cat, either by Wi-Fi or via a cat cable, isn't it? If I didn't have that router, I couldn't communicate with the outside world via my computer. It's almost as if that route or that network or that Wi-Fi point is the entry point to the computer system. That's how I see it. So if I wanted to hack your computer at home, it has to be connected to the router, because otherwise I can't access it. I come through the comms, I hack your router, and then I go into your system. And from there, I might have to then hack into your computer if it's password protected, etc. I think in my head, this makes sense. That picture makes sense. But it's what is that? What is this middle one? Is it? See, I think it's computers. I think that router is a computer system. But you could play it either way, couldn't you? You could say it's a comms system because you come in from comms into that. So that's a comms system. So you hack that with comms and then go out with computers. Or you could say it's computers, i.e. you come into here with computers, comms, hack that with computing, and then go into your system. I might have said the same thing, but it could either be comms or computers. It could be either. I see your point. I see your point completely, Matt, because what you're saying is that the computer is actually communicating. Well, your laptop has its own Wi-Fi. The router allows you to connect to the internet. Yes, the router is a computer system, but the connection between the router and the computer. Ah, right. Okay then. So that's when it would be too complicated. And this is when we have to, I think you're completely and utterly correct, Matt, and John, I think you're both completely correct, but I think it might get a little bit too complicated if we start saying, oh, you need this, this, and this, and this. Just out of interest, and carrying on your idea, both of your ideas, if the computer is connected via Cat5 cable to the Wi-Fi, okay, to the router, and you want to hack that computer system, you couldn't hack the Cat5 cable. I don't think if a computer is hardwired, either, or maybe computer to hacking and comms for listening to traffic. Yeah. Well, okay. So this is the other possible setup as well, because the other possible setup is this. So is it a case I think I can change these arrows. I might not be able to. If I had a communication system, if I actually had a communication system like internal comms, that's also connected. I would make the signal look like your router. Because this is right, isn't it? So, say for example, I'm communicating telephone to telephone in an office. That has voice over IP, doesn't it? So really, the comms of that system is actually coming to the router, and then going out to the rest of the world. It's this bit in the middle. Is that bit in the middle. Okay, so what we could say is, if you want to hack into the computer system, the router goes with computing. If you want to hack into the comms within the building, then you're hacking via comms. But see, the other issue here is that I think there's also sort of like that. So there are some communication systems that do not go through a router. It just doesn't go through it. Yeah. I totally agree, but I don't need a router to use my phone. The comm system of my flat goes straight out to comms. It goes straight down fiber optics, doesn't it? There's no difference there. Okay. My gut wants to go computer. For that router and that Wi-Fi and that network wants to go computer. And I tell you why. Let me tell you why to start off with. Because if I go comms, there's more that you could do with comms than you could do with computing. If you look at that picture and you say, this is the comm skill, this is the comm skill, this is the comm skill, then the only thing that you've actually got for computing is this last one. But if we sort of like say, this is comms, but if you want to get into the network, that needs to be computing. But you can also go straight into the comms system. It also means that if you want to go in to a building to tap somebody's phone, then you can't just go comms to comms. You're going to have a computer skill to get that network connection. That's where I am at the moment. Do you want to know, this is the good thing about this, because this is not the end point, if that makes sense. You know what we can do. So this is what I will do once I finish this article, is that I'll send it to my players and say, what do you think? Does this make sense? You know, does this actually make sense to you? Is this something that we can play with? And this is the honest truth. If I talk to my players, all of them, and they say, no, I think the router and the Wi-Fi should be comms, then I'll say, yeah, that's fine. We'll make it comms then. You know, as long as we don't swap backwards and forwards all the time, as long as I've got some kind of consistency, that's what we'll go with, and that's a wonderful thing. For gameplay, I do think it makes sense. I think that's where, and I have to say, both John and Matt, your knowledge of computing is miles greater than mine. Matt, did you do computing as your degree or your qualification or something like that? I'm sure you did. John, you might have done that as well. I'm not too sure. Just to let you know, it's the other thing that's really nice about Ecamm Live is that it has a time up at the top. So I know I've been streaming for 1 hour, 51 minutes and 30 seconds, and it's clicking up at the moment. Okay then, so let's I just want to try to get this bit down to hack into the computer system itself. There needs to be a communication link to the network. If this is present, then you would use compute. Oh, why did that not come up in capitals? Computing. To hack into the network / Wi-Fi, and then further skill roles to find what you need or to complete specific actions. Okay, let's save that. I think that's been a good night's work. Hello, Mummy Bear. I'm new on your channel. I'm very well today. Even if I ask about computer, I don't know much. I started computer science, but didn't finish this. Still, yeah, it seems like you do. But I see role-playing games. Yeah. So I actually play a game called it's a game called Mithras, and by the design mechanism, and they and it's a role-playing system. It's a role-playing system that has a whole. You could do it in a whole load of different settings. And so that's why I play it. It's a D100 rather than before. Are you talking to Mommy Bear, John? Or yeah, I think you are. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. Do you know we've done a lot of work today. I've still got a lot of work to do, but I've made some really good progress. So if I just go back onto ClickUp, so you can see what I've still got to do. So these are all the stuff that I'm doing. These are all the things that I need to work on. So I've still got to update my MOOC page. I want to write something about, this is what we're doing at the moment. This is the task that I'm actually on trying to complete at the moment. Let's go back to Chrome for this, and that's it. Okay, people, I'm just going to click back to this screen. We should get the chat up there, which is very small, very, very small. Thank you for coming along today. Yeah, so my aim is to every Sunday evening, I'm planning on doing one, Darth. I know it says take sick one on that, but I know it's Darth because he's in the community on Twitch as well. So every Sunday night I'm doing these. Also, if I'm on SMP, I don't know what play. Oh, so I play Minecraft as well. So does Matt. He's a Minecraft expert. We're actually playing all the mods 9 at the moment. But yeah, so I like doing these, and I like to actually show what I use and everything like that. So yes, Darth, and the other thing that I know it sounds really strange, but it makes me do it, because otherwise I just sit on a Sunday night and do nothing, recovering. But now I'm sort of like thinking, so I'm going to do it every Sunday night, and I'm also going to do it on a Saturday night when there's no Mithras. So if it gets cancelled, I will still be streaming, but I'll be streaming here on YouTube rather than Twitch. And the only reason I do that is because I think my role-playing crowd is on YouTube, you know, because of all the rules videos that I create, and gibbering GM and things like that is all on actual YouTube rather than on. I'm hang on, I just need to move myself because I'm not in the center there. That's better. Yeah, so if you do want to catch my streams, and do also remember that I stream live on Twitch on a weekend and during the week, so you can catch me on Twitch. I play Minecraft on the weekend. I'm a member of the ESO stream team, so I play Elder Scrolls Online on Saturday and Sunday. And then we have our main role-playing game. Yeah, I play as a druid, and yeah, Matt plays as the priest of the sun. We're still doing a bit of role-playing in it as well. And then I also dabble in Guild Wars 2. I also want to start having I don't know that game. Is it a game or is it a Minecraft server, Mommy Bear? I'm on. It might be a joke. I'm not very good at jokes. And then I want to get into Satisfactory as well. I think I might like that as well, so I'm going to have a go of that. So thank you for coming along today. It's been fantastic to share. Thank you so much for all your ideas. It's really beneficial when I have a sounding board to sound off and to get your your ideas as well. And like I say, I'll never say I'm going to always take your ideas, but it's really good to have that discussion. And hopefully, if you ever come and watch us play live, M Space, which is a science fiction role-playing game that we're playing at the moment, we stream it live, always 7 o'clock English UK time, either BST or GMT on Twitch on a Saturday night, 7 o'clock till 10 o'clock, with a 15-minute break about half past 8. So if you're around and you want to see what I'm creating here actually going into action, then do have a look. I haven't, but that's another one that people said that I might like. Subnautica, and people have mentioned Raft. Raft they've mentioned to me. They've also mentioned Ark Survival. They've mentioned that to me. I'm waiting for Starfield to come out. Because that's by the same people who created Elder Scrolls Online. And so it's the stream would be him staring at the water for yeah. It would be. It would be. Do you not have that fear of deep water? Oh, I just hate it. I hate it, and I'm not very good at three-dimensional positioning either, so that might be an issue. Anyway, thank you for all your suggestions. Do come along and see me on Twitch. It will be absolutely fantastic, and especially if you can come along to our actual play. Thank you for all your discussions, all your feedback, all your ideas. I'm magpieing, stealing every single one of them to be used later. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I have, and do check out all my links that are below the video. And remember, you can see the whole video again. It will be automatically uploaded to YouTube. Have yeah. Thalassophobia. Well, what's thalassophobia? Is it fear of deep water? Is that the fear of deep water? I'm interested now. Yeah, fear of large or deep water. Yeah, excellent. I'll remember that one. Thank you for that. If you've got any questions about anything that I've discussed tonight, then please do put them in the comments on YouTube, and I will get back to them. Thank you so much for all your support. I'm going to head off to bed. Major run day tomorrow. So I'll be running tomorrow morning about 5 o'clock. So yeah, probably time for bed. Thank you for all your support, and I'll catch you all either on Twitch or next week. Thanks a lot, people. Goodbye.